Episode of Fit Talk with motivation presented by me, yours truly, your personal trainer and your motivator. So look, we went on vacation last week, and at first I thought about podding, and then I stopped and I was like, you know what, this is vacation, so let's really focus on my mental health, my mental stability, and let me get some rest and come back for episode, what's this, 29, with some fire. And boy, was there a lot of fire last week, and it got me to thinking about a couple topics, man. It got me thinking about just the pandemic as a whole, mental health. It got me to thinking about fanboys. I think I talked about this on the podcast before, where there's a lot of people, that are fanboys in fitness. And the funny thing is, like I said, some of the coolest people that I know personally are fanboys. I said on Facebook, I said, man, a celebrity influencer can put up something that says "kiss his behind," and the fanboys gonna go crazy. But anyway, man, let me start out with welcome to another episode. Thank you for continuing to support me. So last week we went to Ocean City for a few days just to relax. Got an ocean view. Thanks to my wife, man. We really enjoyed ourselves. It was also amazing to have an entire week off where there was no focus on getting up early and getting myself really engaged. But while being on vacation, it gave me a lot of time to kind of surf the internet and kind of understand what was actually going on in the world. So it gave me these topics, like I was talking about. We got a few topics we're going to talk about today. First, it ain't going in no order. We're going to discuss Kwame Brown. If you're informed, you've been watching. If you're not, I'm going to try to give you as much information about him without incriminating myself so he can come after me, because I don't want him to come after me. We're going to talk about fanboys. We're going to talk about the fitness hustling. And we're going to talk about more. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube. Make sure you're review the podcast on iTunes, especially on iTunes. You go on iTunes, it takes a few seconds for you to review and leave a comment, just telling people how much you enjoy the podcast, because that helps with getting sponsorships, and how much this podcast can charge for sponsorships. So let's get into it. I think, man, as we, in Mental Health Month, man, I think in my lifetime, I would say we, in my lifetime, have experienced more pain than any generation established. And I'm serious. I know, slavery happened, so I don't want to disregard that. And, I'm not, because they paved the way for us. But I'm going to tell you this. About 10 years ago, I never realized how important mental health was. And like I said, we've experienced a lot, from the housing crisis and recession, to a terrorist attack on the United States, to going to war from that terrorist attack, to a presidential election hack, quote unquote, and now we went through the pandemic and we're coming out of the pandemic. And it got me to thinking, man, I've been through a lot over the last 3 decades. And when I get older, you know, talking to the OGs, they have so much knowledge to give us about the do's and don'ts of how to, you know, navigate life. But how do I have that discussion with young folk growing up once I get that age? And then it got me to thinking, no wonder mental health is at an all-time high. Because you look at it like this, right, man? When I talk to an OG, and when I say OG, I mean like, you know, 80s, 70s, 80s. You know, he talk about just the cost of living was so low. You know, you didn't have to... He was talking about how he spent $150 for rent. Versus I'm hearing people, man, struggling to pay their rent. Yeah, they're trying to help folk, but at the end of the day, man, I think, and I was telling somebody, and I constantly preach this narrative. Working, you got to find ways to work, but work responsibly or work intelligently. You know, while I work a lot, I do the things that I enjoy. You know, because I feel like when you do the things you enjoy, the money gonna come, man. You have to enjoy what you're doing, though. Because if you're enjoying what you're doing, it's no job. You know, I was telling somebody, man, I wish I could get paid to just do fitness. Because times around, like around this time now, it's nice and warm outside. I don't already pull my road bike out. So if someone could pay me to like put a few emblems on my bike and sponsor them and it could pay my bills, man, chances are I'm going to do that. But while I would do that, I still enjoy doing security. You know, it's good because you get to talk to people, you get to relate to people, and in most cases, fitness follows me to security. There's always discussion with someone about, okay, how do I get as big as you? How do I get my arms as big as you? How do I how do I eat? Like, what do I eat to get that big? How often do I eat? How is my metabolism? So those are the things like I constantly hear on a daily basis, which makes my job simple. You know what I mean? While I'm working a lot and I'm always out the house, I'm not really working, you know. And I think that's cool, man, because some folks don't have that opportunity. And like they say, you know, we speak about the wage discrepancy from men to women and the wage discrepancy from, you know, by race. And I think sometimes that can be an excuse. You know, I think, you know, I know the opportunities that aren't relatively available to people of color. But I also think, like, we have to control what we have to control and stop making so many excuses for why somebody else isn't giving us the opportunities. And like, sometimes you got to reach out and you got to snatch your opportunities, right? But I don't want to spend too much time on that, man. Now we're going to talk about fanboys and fitness. And is that you? So, you know, like, I'm just going to mention this one influencer. You know, he's a big time influencer. Or what I would say is, I think he's everyone's childhood. Like, he enjoyed watching this guy because while you know him from wrestling, I'm talking about The Rock, he is dabbling his hand in every situation. But it does get to the point where, exactly what is he doing? Is he out to push products, or is he actually helping you? And because The Rock is dabbling in so much stuff, sometimes it can be a little I'm not gonna say a little much, but boy, is the consumption of him interesting, if that makes sense. So this week it got me thinking about fanboys that just like his stuff just to like it, and they really not really paying attention to exactly what he's saying or exactly what he's doing. You know what you like. If you scrolling down your timeline and you're seeing something, and instead of actually stopping and paying attention, you just click the like button, you are the problem. Don't be a fanboy, man. Actually enjoy what you see, man. Like, I don't follow a lot of fitness influencers. Like, the fitness influencers and the celebrities that I follow are The Rock, because, man, you know, more times than none, man, he's inspiring. You know, Mike O'Hearn, inspiring. You know, C.T. Fletcher, inspiring. You know, these guys, they not tearing people down, man. They educating. They passing off knowledge. And they giving off positive affirmations, if that makes sense. They motivating, man. They are letting you know that because you work hard, I work just as hard as you. You know, like yesterday, I watched the video of The Rock, and he was doing his Terramana toast, and it's a gratitude thing. You know, I'm not about to Terramana toast, but he just talked about hard work and dedication and long days, and he's relating with us, and I think that's cool. But then you got some BS that's on the internet, and we like it just to like it versus actually understanding what it really is, and does it actually provide us with the positivity and motivation we actually need to be successful. And sometimes I think it's disappointing, man, and thus creates fanboys. It doesn't have to really be for fitness. For a fitness-related topic, I said fanboys and fitness, because there are some fitness influencers that are taking advantage of your viewership. You know, instead of them, they think you laughing with them, but in reality, you laughing at them. And some of these people, if a guy puts up something that you disagree with, they go above and beyond to try to let you know that they disagree with you. Those are the fanboys, man, because I'm not spending my energy on social media bashing somebody, but also loving at the same time. That's weird. That's a mental health issue. You know what I mean? And mental health is important, man. I was explaining to my wife the other day, you know, she didn't want the dog when we got a new dog, right? And that's cool. And I have to constantly remind myself that she doesn't want the dog when things aren't done with the dog the way I want it to be done. But then I also had to remind her that I got that dog for me, you know, because, you know, like I said, y'all, I work a lot, and sometimes just walking him, it makes life so much easier, y'all. Like right now, he preparing for this podcast, y'all. He wanted me to say screw this podcast and to take him for a walk, which I'm gonna do after the podcast. But